Hi, Ellen. So let me show you how to, of course, log into your website and go in and add pages, change content, etc. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, log in with the username and password that I sent you. And once you're logged in, you'll be in what I call the back end of the website. And so once you're in here, there, of course, is a lot going on, but you're going to be spending the majority of your time probably in the Pages menu. So we're going to click on Pages or go over to All Pages. And once you're in Pages, you can see the pages that I've created over time, and they correspond to what you see on the website. So for example, the calendar of classes or the home page. All right. And if we take a look here at the front end or the public side, notice that that corresponds to home page, etc., contact Ellen's blog. All right. And so basically what you see here on the back end is also, of course, what the public will see depending on how you do the page. So let me show you a couple of examples. So the home page is pretty obvious. So if you click on or mouse over home and click on edit and take a look, your home page is actually fairly simple because you didn't want any text on the front of it, and that's a whole other conversation with search engine optimization, but you didn't want any text on the front of it. You wanted the layer slider. And so if you look here, we have what's called a short code that causes that layer slider to happen. All right. And so again, this piece of code causes, along with the images, these pictures to slide across the front. All right. And so if you wanted to change that layer slider, we would have to do a couple of other things. Now we'll get to that here shortly. So I'm going to go back out to all pages. And let's go down, let's take a look at About the Artist. So I'm going to click Edit on About the Artist. And notice we've got your picture here, excuse me, and your text. Well, if I go back out to the front side, do Home and About the Artist just to show you, this is what the public sees. And this brings up a good point. Notice this is how it looks on my 27-inch display. But you also have to remember, not everybody's going to come in on the same size monitor. Some people will be coming in on mobile. And so let's take a look and see what this looks like on mobile real quick. And of course, some people will be coming in on an iPad. So let's take a look and see how this looks on the iPad. And also you have to remember, some people will be coming in on a 13-inch laptop, maybe an 11-inch MacBook Air, maybe a 17-inch old style MacBook, maybe a 15-inch Windows desktop. So you always want to remember that how you see it back here on the back is not exactly how everybody sees it on the front. You always want to create the page, make your changes and edits, and then go to the front end, what the public will see, and check it there. And you also want to check it across multiple devices, because you have to remember, that's how the public sees it. You can't assume that everybody's running the same computer that you have or even the same device. I'm going to go back to all pages again. And let's go down. We'll just take a look at commission work as an example. And so if we go over here and we go back to the public side and let's look at commission work, and just bear with me as we bounce back and forth, but I've got to show you how this works. This is how the public sees that. Okay. And if we look back here, notice that what we have here is actually an embedded picture, and I've placed that picture in this page, and then went down here and set these three images up also, and this one is aligned to the left, this one is aligned to the center, and this one is, of course, aligned to the right. And that put them in a nice little three-column type, just a very simple three-column display. And then we have your text down here at the bottom. So if we want to rearrange that, then we could move this picture, for instance, down, And so I'm going to take it just as an example, and let's click and hold it. And let's move it down. So I just clicked, held, and dragged that picture down. And now that I've moved it, I'm going to go over here and hit update. This is like saving the page. And when I click update, that's live. So it's now live on the front end. So if I go over here to commission work now on the public side and I hit refresh, notice that now you have the 3 here and the 1 below it, which is the change that we just made. So I'm going to go back over here. And let's take this one and we're going to move it back up to the top. So I'm going to click and hold and drag it. I'm going to go over here and hit update. Now I'm going to go back out to the front side and just refresh the page. And presto, it's back to how it was. So that's how you can change the commission work page. And remembering that this commission work page is a very simple one. We've got this picture here and then 3 in a column aligned left, center, and right, and then your text below it. Not all the pages are set up exactly like this one though, because you have some of them that have a lot of images that that are in different ratios that we had to keep lined up. So if we go back to all pages again, let's go down and we'll take a look at one of those. So as I scroll down, we're going to bypass some of these pages and let's get down here to the portfolio pages and let's take a look at abstracts. So I'm going to hit edit. And notice the abstracts is a little different. I have this quote up here that is just simple text, but we have this tag in here for the smart grid. Okay? And what the smart grid is it automatically takes the pictures that you gave to me, many of which are different aspect ratios, they're length and height ratios. And this smart grid code and plugin that we have automatically resizes those pictures and puts them in. So as an example, again, I'm going to go back out to the public side and I'm going to click on abstracts. And again, this is what the public sees here. So here's the quote right here. That corresponds, I'm going to flip back over here, that corresponds to this quote. And then as we scroll down, notice that it takes these and rearranges them so that they're spaced proportionately for the left and right, even though they're varying dimensions and ratios on their width and height, because again, that's how you want it set up. All right. So what we want to be careful of is how we actually get these pictures in, and that's what I'm about to show you. All right, so one of the most important things on any of these pages is that they're using a plugin called Smart Grid. And what this plugin does is special code that allows these images to be arranged in the correct order and all that. So the most important thing on any of these pages is you want to leave this snippet of code here intact, because I've got this set so that it does the multi-column display that you like. Okay, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4 across on most of them. It'll alternate some. All right, again, depending on the pictures. But this is set up how you want it. So we always want to make sure that we leave this snippet of code. If you accidentally delete it, we can grab it from another page and just copy and paste it back in here. And then scrolling on down, you'll see the close of the Smart Grid code down here at the bottom. So this code and this code need to stay in this page. And of course, you don't see them out on the public side. Now, inside here, if we click on this array of pictures, notice that when we mouse over to click on it, we get a little pop-up menu here and we can hit edit. This is actually a photo gallery. So the way this works is the Smart Grid plugin works in conjunction with the built-in photo galleries that you create. So in this case, if I wanted to edit some of these pictures, again, I mouse over and click edit, and I can take a picture and I can, for instance, drag it over here and rearrange it. All right, so let's say that I wanted this abstract to come first. I can drag this over here and it will rearrange it in the order. If I do that, I can go down here and hit Update Gallery. It's going to put this one first. Now that I've updated the gallery, I need to go ahead and click Update on my page, which again is like saving the page. And I'm going to go back out here and let's see on the public side. So I'm going to scroll up. And notice that it just flipped this around. Okay. So that's how you can move or rearrange the photos. All right. Now, one other thing here, you want to make sure and leave these gallery settings as they are, because again, I have those set so that the page displays like you had indicated that you wanted it to. Now, if you wanted to add some pictures to this gallery, then you could click Add to Gallery. And from here, you could click to upload a file from your computer. All right, so again, that's just going to let you upload one from your computer. You could also click on Media Library. And this is going to show you all the pictures that I've uploaded so far to your website. And so, for instance, I know this is not really an abstract, but you could click on this landscape picture here and add it to the gallery, and that would actually put it in the abstract gallery. Now, of course, you don't really want to do that, but just showing you what you could do. All right, so I'm going to go back to Edit Gallery because I don't really want to add anything in here. And you can also add captions to these images. So if you take a look, the first three I've put a caption in. This one's missing a caption, and let's see what that looks like out here on the public side. So if you notice, when I mouse over these, it says Abstracts-EllenBlanchard. Okay. Now, the reason I put that in there is because none of these were titled, and so I just used the Abstracts EllenBlanchard just to help a little bit with Google results. But notice here on this particular one, it gives me this long file name. That's the actual name of that photo. But when I go here and take a look at that same one, there's no caption there. So if we add a caption, all right, so let's call this living room abstracts just as an example. All right, and I'm going to hit Update Gallery, and I'm going to update the page. And let's go back here and let's refresh this page on the public side. And now notice when I mouse over that one, it shows me living room abstracts. So if you don't have any caption in it, it's going to give you the file name. If you put a caption in there, then of course that's what it's going to show. All right. And that's the basics of it. Now, really, most of this other stuff over here, you're going to leave all of this alone. For instance, if you wanted to remove this page from public viewing, we could change the status from published back to draft. That would mean the page is still there. It's just not viewable public. So let me show you how we do that. I'm going to click Set it to Draft and click OK, and let's hit Update. And let's go to the public side. Now I'm signed into this, so give me just a second. Let me do an incognito mode here. All right, and let's see, it gives us a 404 error there actually. All right, so when you set it to draft, that means the page is still there in the back end, but it's just not available on the front end. And so when somebody tries to come in there, they're going to get the standard 404 error, which means, hey, you know, the page that you're looking for is not really there. All right, let's go back in, and we're going to set it back from draft. Actually, we're just going to hit publish right here. And I'm going to check it again just to make sure it's showing to everybody. So go to portfolio, go to abstracts, presto, there it is. Now, notice on my really fast cable connection, the abstracts are loading pretty quickly. But one of the things that you want to be careful about is people that come in on slower connections. Again, I've got an insanely fast cable connection, but people that come in on slower DSL connections, sometimes if their mobile connection is not real fast, because you've chosen to have all of these pictures loaded in one page, that presents a challenge because they're relatively high resolution photos, and it literally will bog the browser down or their connection down trying to load all of these images at once. and that's what you and I discussed via email and text message, was actually breaking this up into, say, loading maybe 10 or 12 images, something like that, and breaking it up into a multi-page deal rather than trying to push all of these high-res or relatively high-res, let's call them medium resolution photos at one time. So you want to be very conscious of that and really give some thought into, again, decreasing the number of pictures that load at one time. Okay, so let's take a look at the menus real quick. So if I click over here to abstracts, then of course we've got it set where you have home, portfolio, park studio, then of course your logo, then shop, contact, and Ellen's blog. Now notice there's quite a bit of white space in between there, but again, I'm on a very high resolution monitor that's relatively wide. Most people aren't going to see it like that. Most people are actually going to see it something like this. And notice that your page automatically adjusts and resizes based on the width of the browser. Okay, so you want to be aware of that. Alright, so I'm going to spread this back out. And these menus are set, of course, on the back end in the menu editor. And to get to that, we go to Appearance. Let's go to Menus. And you have two menus. You have a left menu and a right menu. When you come in here, you always want to look and see. Right now we're on the left side menu, and notice we have home, about the artist, commission work, portfolio, abstracts, figures, etc. So let's say I wanted to rearrange some of this. Let's say I wanted to move the accessories up above abstracts underneath the portfolio. So if you look right now, we go to portfolio of abstracts, figures, florals. This is the order that you said, and accessories at the bottom. Let's go ahead and we're just going to move accessories up. So I'm going to literally click and hold and drag this up and keeping it lined up. And then I'm going to hit Save Menu. We're going to go back out to the public side. Let's refresh the page. And now notice when I go to portfolio, there's accessories up at the top. So again, you can pretty easily rearrange the order of these menus. I'm going to go ahead and drag accessories back down here because that's where you had indicated that you wanted it. And away we go.